Dr. Owusu Ocho is the Dr. O for the 804, bringing sports medicine, injury prevention, education, access closer to communities we serve. The goal is not to treat injuries after they happen, but the goal is to help people move better, ask better questions, prevent what we can, and get the right care at the right time.
Hello, Virginia High School sports fans. My name is Rick Stockel. I am co-owner and principal broker of Newman & Dunn Real Estate here in Central Virginia, and I am a very proud sponsor of BallinVA.
Welcome to another episode of BallinVA. Today we're live in Williamsburg, Virginia, William and Mary, and today I'm with head coach Mike London and his staff, and we're going to have his staff introduce themselves, and we're going to start from the right to the left. Start one over here to the right.
Appreciate it. My name is Bo Revel. I'm going to my 12th season here at William and Mary. I coach the inside linebackers. My recruiting areas are Stafford, Fredericksburg area, and the Northern Neck in Virginia. And then I also have North Carolina, eastern part, South Carolina, and a little bit of Atlanta.
How you doing? My name is Daryl Blackstock, special teams coordinator, outside linebacker coach. My recruiting area is 757, the Peninsula area, Newport News and Hampton, 804, Richmond, North Carolina, and Georgia.
What's up, everybody? Keenan Carter, D-line coach, recruiting coordinator, run game coordinator. My recruiting areas is a DMV. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Winston October. I'm the offensive coordinator here, also the wide receiver coach. My recruiting area is Tyson's Corner, Falls Church. My out-of-state area is Maryland, Western Part.
Hey everybody, Jack Armstrong, offensive line coach. Recruiting areas of Roanoke, up the Shenandoah Valley to Strasburg. Out of state, I have Kentucky, West Virginia, New England, New York, all that up there.
Mm-hmm.
How y'all doing? Ross Dowling, defensive coordinator, secondary coach. Recruiting area is Southside, 757, South Central Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia. Out of state, PG County, Maryland. Went to from Chesapeake, went to Deep Creek High School.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Coach Perry Jones. I'm the running backs coach going on year 3 for me. And my recruiting areas is Henrico, Ashland, Mechanicsville, and Hanover. My out-of-state areas is Eastern Pennsylvania and Delaware.
How y'all doing? My name is Brian Randall. I'm the quarterbacks coach here at William and Mary from Williamsburg, Virginia, Bruton High School. My recruiting areas are York County here, James City County, New Kent, Blacksburg, Virginia, Christiansburg, part of Tennessee, part of Georgia, and the northern part of Florida.
Like that.
How's it going, guys? Mike Maloney, tight ends coach, recruiting areas in state, Winchester, Virginia, out of state, Central Jersey, Western PA, and then the southern part of Florida.
How's it going, everybody? Kevin Gerald, field backers coach here at William & Mary, going to my 3rd season. In-state, I recruit Central Virginia. Out-of-state, I have Central Pennsylvania and South New Jersey.
Coach, thank you for being with us today. First of all, this was an honor and a privilege for us to be here with you, man. And I just thank you for just inviting us and taking the time out of your busy schedule right here in the beginning of the football season. But I first want to just start, where did it start for you?
Well, first of all, thanks for being here and having a chance to introduce the staff because they're a great group of individuals. Mm-hmm. Where it started for me was I am a product of a military family where my dad was stationed here at Langley Air Force Base, and I got here, and for the latter part of his career, I went to Tabb High School. Mm-hmm. And then he retired, and I moved into Bethel District, and I ended up my final senior year going to Bethel High School after he retired. So he spent 32 years in the military, Air Force, flying C-130 planes, taking the Joint Chiefs of Staff around all over the world, and ended up here in Hampton, Virginia, down in that spot down there off of Big Bethel Road, Michael's Woods Drive, and that's kind of where we settled, and then the opportunity to go to those 2 high schools, but also college, University of Richmond, and then get into some other aspects. I signed a free agent contract with the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. NFL stands for not for long, not just National Football League. And but I always wanted to be a a police officer or a Secret Service agent, because I saw my dad flying around all these Joint Chiefs of Staff guys with heavy security around them. And it was one of those things that I wanted to be one of those guys looking out for other people. And so after I got cut from the Cowboys, I became a police officer in the city of Richmond. Did that for a couple years. Had an event where somebody pointed a gun at me, pulled the trigger, and didn't go off by the grace of God. And said, I think I'll try some coaching now, you know? Wow. And so kind of been in coaching ever since then. That's 30-something years. And it's been rewarding. It's been a blessing. A lot of great things have happened in my career thus far. And I'm just so thankful to share it with the guys that you just met, but staffs that I've been all over the place at, but with my family. My family is from down here. My pops passed away 2 years ago. I still wear his dog tags. My brother and I, my brothers each of us have a dog tag about him, and I'm in the phase of giving back, paying it forward, trying to create a legacy from Wilson London that taught me all the things that I've learned over the years, and then have fun doing this as well.
Coach London, you mentioned that you were a police officer before you started coaching. What kind of training or what kind of things you think you were able to translate being a police officer to actually coaching young men and outside
Great question.
helping them as well?
No, that's a great question, because I think I was a uniformed officer, first, and I had that NFL body where I was like all rocked up and everything, and my first assignment was writing parking tickets out at the place called Pony Pasture, which is out in West Richmond, and it was like people whose parking meters had expired, and here I am all jacked up writing the ticket. I'm like, man, there's got to be something better than this. And so they said there's a thing called the Selective Neighborhood Action Patrol, SNAP. You be a police detective, you can wear plain clothes, and I'm like, sign me up, I'll do that. And so I became a police detective in the city of Richmond. I worked all the high areas where there were issues, and what I learned was go to class, show class, treat people with dignity and respect. Those are the mantras of the program. But what I learned, treat people with dignity and respect, came out of being a police officer working in the areas up in Richmond, Virginia, quote unquote, people would say high crime areas. There were people in that areas that they wanted a decent living like everybody else. There were a few people in those areas that gave the impression this was a terrible place to go. But what I learned is the mom or the son or the grandfather, treat people with dignity and respect, and you will get that in return. And sometimes it's overlooked. You can go into the suburbs, you can go in different areas. You want to be treated with dignity and respect, just like everyone else in the areas that I work, particularly in Richmond. And but I learned that and it's become part of the mission statement as being a coach now, that tone and civility always matters. How I approach you, acknowledging the things that you do have, that you can do, and just being positive with people. I'm a glass half filled person. I'm an eternal optimist, and that's carried on in my athletic coaching careers and things like that. So the police officer part, I had the undercover stuff with the Michael Jackson afro and the puka shells, the platform shoes, and all those things like that, man. And one particular evening, trying to arrest a guy, I'm fighting his mom and his grandma were falling down the stairs, and it led to an encounter with some young men that had just robbed the store, and my partner and I were approaching the vehicle, the description of the vehicle that matched. And as I'm getting ready to approach the driver's door, he steps on the gas and fishtails and tries to run me over. I jump into the driver's window, and I'm trying to grab a hold of the steering wheel, and it was a young teenager at that time. But he reached back, pulled a gun, pulled the trigger, and it went click. I let go of the steering wheel, and they end up driving off. But they end up catching them later on, and because they got rid of the gun, when we go to court, the people at the store that they were at said that part of their members, family members, got to them and said, "We know where you live. Don't testify." So they didn't testify. So the only thing, make a long story short, with robbery of a store, attempted capital murder of a police officer, couldn't find the gun, couldn't corroborate the robbery of the store. The only thing that they got charged with was trying to run me over with a car. And that was the only thing they got convicted of. Not the attempted capital murder, because I guess the gun would have had to go off, would be a different story. But yeah, that kind of changed my perspective on not becoming a police officer. And then I entertained becoming a football coach. And the next personal love that I have was, outside of being FBI, Secret Service, was to be a coach. If I couldn't play it in the league. And so I had a short cup of coffee with the Cowboys, but it's a perspective and a perception that I can share with young men, having been at that level, but also making a career choice based on stuff happens. So what are you going to do? And that became the next. This is what I'm going to do.
Coach, you coached in multiple areas in Virginia. You've been at Richmond, national champion in 2008. You've been at Howard. You've been at William & Mary. You've been at UVA. How has that given you an advantage in recruiting in this area? Because you've been at multiple places, multiple areas, multiple cultural areas, ethnic areas as well. How does that help you to recruit in the area, and how can you use that to your advantage, being at William & Mary? Correct.
No, that's another great question, because I've been at, like you said, the different areas with the high school, Tabb High School, Bethel High School, and then University of Richmond, great institution, the PWI, UVA, great institution, PWI. Here, same thing. Have an opportunity to be at Howard as a head coach, and have the different cultural and the perspectives that you gain and you have to be able to be in those school areas and districts and have relationships with the coaches from those areas. And we're just talking about, the Mike Smiths, the Tommy Remans, the Dennis Kozlowskis, the Freddie Mitchells, Cadillac Harris, and all those guys. When you can develop a relationship with those coaches and the community, hey, we're going to take care of my son if he goes there. Because it takes a long time to build that bridge, that coaches will trust you with their players, that parents will trust you with their players. But because my family is in and around the Northampton area. My father coached and taught Northampton Little League, and so the name London is down there in a lot of areas. My brother Paul went to Bethel, played football at UVA. My brother Gary went to Bethel, played football at East Carolina. So over the years, trying to follow that legacy of my father being a coach, and then also being around the different areas where you can say my family name, it matters to me. When I first got here, I said 7 Tribe 7. Everybody got mad because they're like, I'm from the area down there, right, and the 757 area code is from here. That's right. So I had to be reminded, 804, 540, 703. I'm the head coach at all those places, So, I'm like Statue of Liberty, like, come on, baby, I'll take everybody. But the significance of growing up in that area and the people in that area, that's what's been really special, and the appreciation of I'm a Virginia product.
Coach, I have another question for you too. Yeah. Talk to some of your staff. You're big on, making sure kids are taken care of, the coach taken care of. Talk about how you're able to allow your coach to prioritize their families as well. We know coaching is very demanding at any level, specifically at the college level as well. So how are you able to allow your coaches to really be in with their families and coach these young men?
Yes, so we live forward and we learn backwards. And so when I first started out coaching, it's like, man, I got to get to the Mecca, the Holy Grail. And so I was a coach trying to get to the different places. And along the way, my kids were growing up. And as they were growing up, they became older and older. At first, I'd come in the house, Daddy! And then going from job to job and trying to chase jobs and things like that, they got older, and it was like, what's happening, Dad? What you doing? And I'm like, what happened to the daddy? Because I've been so concerned about chasing jobs, because I thought that was going to be my MO, my ID. And then by the grace of God, it didn't work. I got married early when I was at Richmond, and I had a son when I was in college. And the NFL thing didn't work out, so my first marriage, it didn't work out because of the expectations of what I could do, provide financially. But I met my current wife now, Regina, here at William & Mary when was my first full-time coaching job. So I'm a divorcee with 3 kids, and I meet another woman, and I want to talk about having other kids because normally it's the other way around. And we went out on a date. I'll never forget it, over the James River Bridge. And I asked her what dreams, hopes, aspirations she had. She said, I always wanted a large family. I was like, cha-ching, because I got one. I got one. And so we ended up getting married, had 4 kids of our own, and the 4 from the 3 from our previous marriage are like brothers and sisters. They love each other. And so what I learned then was, and I tell these coaches, all that matters is happens between the white lines. Football is football. How we do, how we coach, how we teach, critically important. But you only gonna get one shot to be a dad when you're young, your kids are growing up young. So if there's a game, a recital, or something like that, go to it. Make an effort to go see your kids. So you might be sitting in the stands and they can't hear you, but if you looking down and your son, your daughter looks up and sees you, that's that mental thing that they get. And then you get it too as well. And so I've kind of learned my lesson in terms of you can have a great job, a great staff, be at a great place, but this doesn't have to be your everything, your all everything. And do take time for family. Be a husband, be a father, be a brother, be a son, be an uncle, all those things. And so we talk about creating those moments where your kids can still see you be an active part in their development. I've been doing this for a long time, and again, staying till 3 o'clock in the morning ain't going to get you any more wins. Being intentional about how you go about doing things during the working hours, that will do it. And so, and that's been the blessing, is to have a group of men that have young families, that they're watching their families grow. And some of the guys, I've been with them so long that I see their young kids are now high school age kids, right. And I see and I hear the stories of dads showing up at a game, an AAU game or something, and then when I see him, Coach London, the hugs and things like that. So I love what I do. I take this thing very serious, but I know, man, there is life after sport. I want to be a great husband and father and be the head coach of this place. It's been done. It can be done, and not to neglect your family.
I like that, Coach, that you say that, because that was going to my next segue about why women marry, and I'm looking at women marry. You in the middle, so to speak, because you're at the 757. You're from 757. You're at the 804, 703, and my question is just why women marry.
Another great question. So, in this career, in an athletic football career where you're keeping score and all those things like that, good things happen. Tough things happen. You have to handle adversity and all those things. So my departure from UVA, after being a head coach there 6 years and an assistant for several years as well, it took me to Maryland. And then from Maryland, it took me to Howard University as the head coach. And my father, again, he fought he was in Vietnam, and he fought in the wars there in Vietnam, in the jungles there. And at that time, they were using Agent Orange. And so he was in the jungles there, and then, and that stuff got in your system and then developed early onset dementia and other physical issues. And so I was at Howard, and my mom was like, your dad's not doing well. And so I had the choice to stay at Howard or right about that. And God's timing is perfect timing, because Coach Laycock was about to retire and leave here.
Yes.
And so I'd already been here as an assistant for a couple of years when Mike Tomlin was a player, Sean McDermott was a player. I was on the same staff with Dan Quinn, who's the head coach of the Commanders. I know Brian Dable, who's the head coach. And so the time of my mom saying things are tough, and the opportunity to come here, even though I was at an FBS school, My kids were older. My mom, my wife's mom is older as well. So I'm like, this is that time for me to come home. So I came here in 2019, and we went to the COVID year. And then my dad ended up having to go to the Veterans Hospital at Hampton University. And it was a tough time at that point because as I saw him deteriorate, at least I could be there to see him in the mornings, jump in the car, come here and go to work.
Okay.
And so why William and Mary was sometimes we choose jobs, chase titles, chase money.
Yes.
There's going to come a time in your life where you're going to chase a job because of the quality of life that it has for you. And so I'll never forget the morning that my pops passed away. I was in his ear at the hospital. I was telling him what kind of stuff we we're going to do at practice as the game was approaching. And I drive up, I get here, we practice, and my mom calls me and she says, your dad's gone. But, excuse me,
No.
but I had a chance to see him that morning and get in his ear and tell him what was going on. Tell him that I loved him. And then as I rode to work, I had a chance to coach and teach. And so she told me afterwards, after practice, that he was gone. But I never want to be in a position in a job or taking an assignment or doing things where you couldn't tell people how you felt about them. If you love them, because we don't do that enough. If you get off the phone, then the last thing you should be saying when you get off the phone, regardless of who it is, I love you, appreciate you. I had that moment in his ear to tell him that I loved him. And then I went and I did my thing, yelling and screaming and all that stuff like that. And then my mom said he was gone. I knew when I saw him, I didn't know it was going to be the last time I saw him, but I wanted everything I do or everything I did when we departed to be the same way when I get off the phone with my wife, when I leave to go home, when I leave home to come to work, my kids, when I get off the phone with them. And so that part, the William and Mary that led to the life lessons that these players, these coaches, the quality of life matters. Go see your son, go see your daughter play. Bring your kids on Sunday nights, bring your kids in here and let them run up and down the hallway because Sundays and Mondays are late nights anyway. But I want them to see you before they go to bed because normally you'd go home and they're already in the bed. Bring them here, we'll have a family meal and then let's go. So it's a long answer to why William and Mary, but it's the exact answer to you had asked earlier about the culture and the climate that you try to create. Because we live forward and we learn backwards. Things happen to us, and sometimes you don't get a second chance to say things that you wanted to say. So when you have a chance to say something, then be intentional about it and say it. But that was the main reason. My wife's mom now is 99 years old, will be 100 years old here pretty soon.
Oh, man, y'all.
And so she's from the country. She'll come to work. She'll knock on the door. Baby, I was in the neighborhood. I brought you some possum stew. I'm like, what? It's my wife's mother, so I got to make sure I'm good with this. I'm like, because part of me is like, what you doing here? You're supposed to call me before you get here.
Right.
But it's my wife's mom, and I'm like, thank you for the possum stew. Appreciate it. How you doing, Miss Young? What about she was a school teacher at Denby High School when Tomlin was going to school there. And thank you, Mama Young. And then wait for her to leave. I ain't gonna tell my wife I would dump it out. Dump it out. But it was one of those things that the quality of life was that she felt good enough to come visit her son-in-law. My wife felt good because Mom came by. And things like that. So it's the culmination of those types of things that add up, that add layers to this is a great decision because our guys are doing well here. We're winning. They're graduating. They're getting drafted.
Yep.
They're becoming CEOs of companies.
That's right.
And all those things. I got a great staff. So just the Q factor again, I keep talking about.
I love it. And we're going to get you out on here on this last question, Phil. And I'm going to let you take us home on this one and make it count.
We coming in to a new year. A few years ago, you guys went to the quarterfinals and the playoffs. What are you looking forward to this season? What players might stand out? What can we expect from William Mary football this year?
Yeah, you're right. In 2022, we're champs of the CAA.
Right.
Went to the playoffs and went far into the playoffs at that time. The CAA, the Coastal Athletic Association, we've moved on from them to the Patriot League.
Okay.
And the Patriot League now has added University of Richmond. They went last year, and Villanova.
Okay.
So, again, you could argue, if you look at some of the FCS polls and things like that now about strength of conferences, that now the Patriot League has moved up, and because of the addition of Richmond, who they were playoff contenders, title of a national championship. Villanova, they were playoff contenders. They'd won a national championship as well. William & Mary, we were playoff contenders as well. So the Patriot League has now surrounded itself with other league members that have been there, done that. And so it's like-minded academic institutions, Holy Cross, Fordham, Lafayette, Georgetown. And their brand of play has gotten better. They've had teams in the playoffs as well. So we're entering a new phase of leaving the Coastal, the CAA, and getting into the Patriot League. Very good teams, but I feel good about our team, who's returning. I feel good about the coaches that you've met, that introduce themselves, the areas that they recruit. We have 63 players on our team of 97 or 100, soon to be 105 from the state of Virginia. So it's important that all the areas. Some of them left out the high schools that they went to. They wanted to do a retake and mention the high schools. But it's too late. I think only one, like Rothside Dowler might have mentioned.
Yeah, Deep Creek.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And then Keenan Carter, who I coached at UVA, said, "I got the DMV."
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, tell me about the schools in Virginia that you have, man. All these guys, man. So, but I feel good about where we are as a team. Obviously, the goal here is to chase and pursue championships. The Patriot League championship is something that's high on our list as well. Go to the playoffs. You get into playoffs, it allows you chances and opportunity to win the whole thing. Our guys are graduating at a rate that is high as federal graduation rate. 19 of the last 20 years, William & Mary has had the #1 federal graduation rates of all public institutions. So the best of both world scenarios, classroom and winning on the field is here. Guys on my staff, Rothside was a second-round draft pick for the New England Patriots. Daryl Blackstock played 7 years in the NFL. Keenan Carter played in the NFL. Winston October, CFL, All-American, All-Star, played in the league as well. Brian Randall, Hall of Famer, QB at Virginia Tech. And so you just look at Perry Jones. You go to Perry Jones' website right now. He was one of the best running backs in University of Virginia career. I was coaching him at the time, and I brought him as a coach. So you look at the proposition value of the people, the school, the opportunity to win, the facilities, all those things like that. It's like the right kind of players are coming here for the right reasons, and we think about winning championships, graduating them, and helping them become better husbands, fathers, sons, and all those things by creating a culture that they matter.
Man, I just want to say thank you, Coach, man. This has been an awesome interview.
You're going to bleep out the part where I had tears because then people are going to be like, oh, Coach, man, you're supposed to be all hard and stuff like that.
That's the part that's going to draw them in,
man, I don't know, man. But you can't make – can I share one more thing?
No, this is your time.
And this is probably the culmination of everything where the Faith Family football part came in. I remember I was an assistant coach at Boston College, and my younger daughter Tyson was like 4 years old at the time. She got sick. Tom O'Brien was the head coach at Boston College. Who used to be a longtime assistant at Virginia. She got sick, and the doctors at the Children's Hospital in Boston said she had this rare blood disorder called Fanconi anemia, which is your body's inability to fight off infections. The only cure was a bone marrow transplant. So I was leaving Boston College, coming to Virginia as Al Groh was the head coach at Virginia, but trying to find a place that could handle these bone marrow transplants. So we joined the National Bone Marrow Registry, Couldn't find a match. So as we're making the transition to Virginia, John Hopkins said, hey, come in, let's look at you, let's test you, Mr. London. But the odds of the parent being a match for their own child, very, very rare, 10,000 to 1. So I'll never forget, we go in the doctor's office, they take a vial of blood, and they say, Mr. London, I just want to let you know, it's very rare, but you are identified as the match. The perfect match. So a couple months later, we go do the bone marrow transplant at Johns Hopkins Hospital, where it was through a pheresis machine, where basically they took blood out of my arm, went it through a machine and took the red blood cells, white blood cells, plasma out. Some people think that the bone marrow transplant going through the hip, my grandparents are like, oh, that hurts, baby. 90% of the procedures now are through a pheresis machine.
Wow.
So they collected the bone marrow in a drip tube, took it up to her room, and dripped it into her cord. That was the bone marrow transplant. And so when I say God is good, when I look at a career that a father that I had as a coach and demonstrated what it looks like to affirm and value you, when I look at the blessing, because my daughter is the head athletic trainer at Heritage High School.
Oh, wow. Man, amen.
You know, so when you look at those things, and it's 15 years post-transplant, praise God, she's cancer-free. So when you say the odds of something not happening, I'm on the other side of that.
Right.
I'm on the other side. Like when you say 10,000 to 1, I'm like, okay. Let's go. If you don't get involved in extracurricular activity, you guys do community service stuff, get involved, whatever it may be, because you never know. Your involvement might be the difference. And so when people stand back like, I don't know, it hurts giving blood. Oh, I don't want if I can do that or be that. You never know. And so I'll take 10,000 to 1 odds any day. But that was a perspective and a perception and a real life issue where dad, her, and the gun doesn't go off that has shaped my career and my values and who I am and how I want to treat other people. And then surrounded by a staff that says, Coach, we'll carry the mantle as well. So we have a foundation called Tomorrow's Kid. I do, anybody want speaking engagements? I'll come speak at anything you do. I don't want to get paid. I just want the check written to Tomorrow's Kids. I will come and speak at your organization or anything like that. And that's what I do. I don't take any money from it. We take it and we send it to the Ronald McDonald House that's up there in Baltimore. Parents that want to be there with their kids while they're going through the procedure, but they need a place to stay. That's what we do with the foundation. You know, we have bone marrow. I've had a bone marrow drive at every place that I've been, and I've had players recognized as matches and had at least over a dozen people identified in our matches as people that are a match for a player to save somebody else's life. Oh, Charles Grant, down around the way. Our left tackle, they got drafted 3rd round with the Raiders. He was identified as a perfect match, gave his bone marrow, saved his recipient's life. And so it can be done if you just take the time and the step and the initiative to go out and be a servant leader and go do things for other people. So, but I'm wired a different way, man. This is a career that's been really, really a blessing to be around good people. But I owe the man upstairs for the opportunities to still be doing this. You know, glass half filled, not half empty. All those things. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, man.
Man, that was an awesome story. That's the way to go out, man. That's the way to go out. Man, Phil, you got anything? Well, Coach, anybody you want to shout out, anything before you get up out of here, man?
Nah, you know, just my wife, Regina Gale London, man. She, you know, when she said, I always wanted a big family, man, that just lifted a ton off of me because I'm raising 3, and it don't happen that way.
That's right.
Normally the guys are like, lady that has kid, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
And she was like one of those that I just want a big family. And she's been a great mother, great wife, great partner. I met her here. I had the CeCe Long sideburns and stuff back in the day. Yeah, you know, I had the comb that you had that had the fist. Used to pick your hair, man. You know, Michael Jackson. You know, I was just like all that stuff, man. But that's life, though, man. You know, and you mature and you grow. And now we're responsible for young men that come in to now help them mature and grow. What comes out of your mouth matters. How you treat people matter. How you treat women matter. All those, open the door, close the door, saying thank you, please, matters. And so I know we're living in cancel culture and all those things like that, but it's like, you know, I still say yes, sir, yes, ma'am to older people because that's the way my parents taught me growing up. But I'm having a great time, man. I appreciate what you guys do. You guys are awesome. You're welcome anytime. And again, to your listening audience, you listen to the dudes, man. You know, they put it down, they put it together. And the man behind the camera, I wish he played football, man, because he could rush the passer, man. I don't know if he's gonna show himself on camera or not, but this dude looks pretty good now. So,
That's what I'm saying.
But thank you guys, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
No, we loved it, man. Phil, you got anything you want to say to Coach on the way out, man? This was beautiful, man. This was perfect.
Coach, it's just been a pleasure, you know, meeting you, man. And like you said, family is a big deal. And, you know, coming from a family where, you know, my dad's coached for over 40 years at the high school level. My mom has been a teacher. And just them stressing to us how important academics and athletics were. And now my brother being a head coach and, you know, doing this thing at Deep Creek. But the big thing is, Jalen Jones, who you coached here, was his first professional football player. So I just want to let you know, even we can feel what you've done, what the staff has done, because you know, Jalen was a special kid. He did his thing, and he got into the right program, right system, and you see it now. So
came in as a walk-on, man. Came as a walk-on, got put on scholarship. Now he's gonna play professional football.
Exactly. And so just want to shout you out with that, Coach, and you know, appreciate you sharing with us, and I'll just open up your time, your schedule. Thank you for the staff, meeting them as well. I'm your executive assistant too, warming us in, welcoming us in. And we're just grateful to be here at William Merritte talking to you.
Anytime.
Yeah, and we coming back, man. So I thank you, man. This was dope, Coach.
They don't know that you're related to Keenan Carter, my D-line coach.
Yeah.
They know that?
They know now.
Oh, they know that. Oh, my bad.
They know now.
That's gonna be edited out. My bad right there.
They know now. But we a big sure that y'all subscribe to the channel, BallinVA Podcast on YouTube, man. Follow us on Instagram, also Facebook, TikTok, all those places, man. And from William and Mary, from Coach London, from Philip Twine, we are out.